Welcome to Faith Stories with Dawn DeMarco-Book. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they will see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16.
And welcome to Faith Stories. I'm Dawn DeMarco-Book, and I'm going to try not to laugh through this whole episode because I've got my dear friend Paula over here doing funky dances to entertain the children. What is Faith Stories? Faith Stories are Christians from all walks of life who share their stories of faith, hope, and love. And my prayer is that you would come to know your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And how do you do that? It's through His Word, which is the Bible. So if you need a Bible, please reach out to me at FaithStorieswDawnDeMarco.com. Okay, my friend Stacy wrote this book. She passed away in September of 2024. And I just want to encourage you to go out and get it. If you have children, it's a great book. It's about her daughter ran away. She was 16 years old and she got caught up in the sex trafficking, and how these three Christian women heard from God and how they helped navigate saving this child. And so check it out. You can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back with my gorgeous guest.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at Broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavillaproperties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. And welcome back. Okay, so my guest is Farrell Cam, and I spoke with her, I think it was back like in November timeframe, and she was supposed to come on in December, but some things happened. She wasn't able to come on. Believe me, the enemy has been trying to not let her come on, you guys. It's crazy, everything that she's had to deal with. But I'm glad you're here, gorgeous. She's also another redhead. Gotta love it.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Farrell, I didn't get a chance to meet you until this moment. I mean, we spoke on the phone a couple times, so I'm just so blessed and thankful that you're here.
I know. You're so nice too. It was like so well. And when I came in and I saw like how everything was decorated, I was like, all right, I'm home.
Good.
We're good. We can relax now.
Breathe.
Yeah, I can breathe. I'm cool.
All right, my friend. So let's start from your childhood and what you walked through, and then we're going to do a two-part series, you guys, because her story is so incredibly crazy that it deserves at least a two-parter. So she'll be back on May 7th. Mark your calendar. But she has to check her calendar first.
Yeah, right. And make sure all the ducks line up.
No pun intended.
I know, right?
All right, Farrell, tell us what happened as you were, growing up.
Okay, so I'm Farrell, and I was raised, my father was Jewish, and my mother was a Catholic at the time. That's what she was raised. And my parents made the decision to raise my brother and I Jewish.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I went to Hebrew school before I went to a regular school.
Okay.
So that was like my first, it was kind of like they put me in the Hebrew school, you learn like your fundamental basics of life, right?
Sure.
Because there I learned the story about Adam and Eve. Fast forward, when I actually go to school, they're teaching the Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Stuff like that. So it's always good
At least
to have
you had that foundation, right?
But that was really it. It was really just a foundation because, with with the Jewish culture a lot, it's like you know the prayers, you celebrate the holidays, your family gets together, but you don't really know what you're celebrating.
Yeah.
So it was like I had all that knowledge, but there was no more than that. It was just like, this is what we believe, this is what we're going to celebrate, and this is what you are.
Did you go to temple at all?
Yes.
You did? Did you go every week?
Yep, every Friday.
Okay.
Yep, yeah. My parents
Sabbath?
had my brother and I go to temple, and, you know, we would go, and, you know, I don't speak Hebrew, so it was like the whole time you're there.
You just don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, you just sit there, and you're like, okay, this is...
Wow, that must have been tough.
That's long, too.
Yeah.
And I'm a kid, you know?
Trust me, you know, I was raised Catholic up until I was 11, and they did speak English, thank God. But, you know, yeah, you're totally bored. It wasn't very engaging for children.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So, you know, there was no pursuit for me at a young age, because to me it was just like a bunch of hoopla, you know?
Right, and grown-ups going on.
Yeah, grown-up stuff.
Right. It didn't,
I didn't understand.
Right.
So, yeah, and then, you know, then you get acclimated into like regular school where, you know, there's a bunch of different kids around you, and like, you know, religion per se gets a little bit further away from the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I say like there was no relationship with God at all, and I could have used it because when I was younger, you know, one of the things that like threw my whole path of life was the divorce my parents went through. They went through.
How old were you when they did that?
I was about 14 when they sat my brother.
So you're really vulnerable at 14 years old. You're extremely vulnerable.
Yes.
Trying to figure out who you are, and then you have your parents are like, and what was it, a nasty?
Oh yeah.
Divorce.
Oh yeah. And it's no secret about it. You know what I mean? We were like well known in our community, so like it was a big.
Well known in your community, meaning the Jewish community?
No, just where I grew up, because my brother also, he was a very good baseball player. He got drafted to the Marlins out of high school. So it was like our family was like...
was well known in
that
respect.
And we looked very well on the outside. We
Don't
looked
we
very
all?
well. We looked great. We looked great. I was a wonderful student.
Yeah.
I got great grades, honor roll. My brother was a baseball player. My parents, you know, happy, great house. It was great. Right. And then...
it was a facade. Yep. And then the facade broke.
Fell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what happened as a result of them... Now, is your brother older or younger?
He is older, yeah.
Okay, so is he's still...
Yeah.
Is he still in the major leagues?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he went down a different path, you know, probably because of everything that was going on,
the
you
trauma,
know?
The trauma in your teenage life.
It takes a huge weight on you. And, you know, especially thinking about our lineage, because we are Jewish, I look at it now as someone who believes, like, what an attack from the enemy. You know what I mean?
No
like,
kidding.
the potential that was there, and then it was like that little open door that just...
It's all the enemy needs, right?
Exploded it.
Yes.
And we had no real relationship with God.
Right.
So we had nothing to grab onto.
Sure. So what happened?
So what happened was basically my brother went with my mom and I went with my dad because I am a daddy's girl.
Okay.
And I love my father
with my daddy's girl.
my whole heart. And yeah, I was going to be there for him.
Yeah.
You know, and my mother and I did not have a very good relationship at all. Like, I kind of just, like, wrote her off.
Yeah.
And it was just my dad and I for a while. And then, which, you know, when there's a young girl involved and you don't have your mom around.
Right.
In your younger years.
Right.
That,
very vulnerable.
yeah, that allows you to, I kind of just got to, like, make myself, and I was really angry. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be everything I wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
That was,
you go the opposite direction. Cause it's
like full throttle.
Right.
It was like, okay.
You did full throttle.
Yeah,
oh my word.
for sure. Like, I definitely achieved the goal. Like,
you sure did.
Boy, do I do what I put my mind to. Like, I can't. So, yeah. And that just led into, like, at first it was like, you know, you start smoking weed here and there when you're younger, you know.
And you know what I love when people go, oh, it's only pot or it's only weed. And it's like, yeah, but it's a gateway drug, you guys. That's the thing.
Yep.
It's like it can lead you to other things,
Yep.
and that's the bad thing.
Yeah, because
Right?
once you introduce something that calms your nerves a little bit,
Right.
then what's going to calm my nerves like this
Right.
did? You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that itself, I was a young girl, vulnerable, already mad at the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Didn't believe in a God at this point anymore.
How
I was
could you?
like, what is this? And it just got really bad for me. I basically like tagged on every bad association to anything.
Right.
Like I really did. When I say I went full throttle into that, like I don't care, and I'm gonna make it a point that I'm hurt, so everybody can see that.
Yeah,
you know?
you lash out. And how did your dad handle that? I mean, was your mom involved at all in your life?
I literally
Said no.
I'll never forget. I was working in a Subway, and she came in, and she was like tiptoeing in, and I turned around and I saw her, and I was just like, get out. Like, if you don't get out, I'm gonna flip. And I've always been
volatile?
Very violent, you know.
Yeah.
So she left, and I didn't talk to her for years after that. You know what I mean? My father, he was okay with it.
Right, because he wanted you to be his little
understandably
girl.
so.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? When your daughter is telling you, like, okay, I don't want to talk to mom anymore, he's like, all right, I got you, and he did.
Yeah.
You know, my dad had my back through everything, and he, you know, helped me into the person that I am today. You know?
Love Dad.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then.
So you're in middle school at 14. No, you're going into high school at that point, right?
Well, yeah, I was still in middle school, going into high school, and again, like, I was in the pre-quantum leap classes, you know.
You're highly intelligent, so yeah.
Yeah, but.
Because I don't even.
But then this.
What the heck is that?
Yes. But then all this happened. So now I don't want to be smart anymore.
Right.
I don't have to be smart anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have to get good grades anymore. I don't have to do anything anymore. Yeah. So it was like a give up, you know? And I got into high school, and you know, I had my circle was small. I had, you know, my best friend, Emily, I was with her. I ended up moving in and living with her for a little bit just to get away from everything.
Right.
And, you know, she wasn't into anything that I was into. She was like my rock, like my good influence, you know what I mean?
That was God watching over you?
Yes,
and
literally
placing you in
through
people's-
Emily.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. Like, and I'm so I still have a very good relationship with her. You know, our kids, she just had a baby too, so it's like the way everything just meshed together. And then, so I'm in high school, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, at all. You know?
You were just done with
so
the world.
I dropped out.
Oh, girl.
I did drop out, but I did get my diploma early.
Okay.
And then I went to cosmetology school. I went to Aveda.
Okay.
And I got my cosmetology license.
And how old are you at this point?
I was like 18.
Okay.
I was 18. But now I've achieved everything that I needed to. I've checked off.
At 18 years old, I achieved everything.
I checked off all my boxes. I got my diploma. I went through a college per se. So now I can just do whatever I want, right?
Right.
And I really messed everything up, like, from that moment. It was just like things got darker.
When you say darker, what do you mean by that?
Substance abuse for sure.
Okay.
Very, very dark. Very dark path with that. Crime, you know what I mean? As in, like, I would steal, like, pillow pets and stuff. And I was always calling my mom. You know what I mean? Just because I was...
Calling her to give her a...
No, to call me and be like, hey, Mom, I'm... You know, because I'm underage, I'm young, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, my dad, you know, because you have to call a parent. They won't release you. I'm like, hey...
So you're in jail at this point. You're arrested.
Well, no, they hold you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they make you call your parents.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, can you come get me?
you know what I mean? That attitude,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Like, they got me again. What, for what? The zebra pillow pet. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, just wanted to be a bad kid.
Right.
Like, for no reason.
Well, that was your way of crying out to your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not a parent, but that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
When your child is doing all that kind of crazy stuff. You were hurt. There was
Yeah.
trauma that you were dealing with,
Yeah.
and you didn't know that what
And that
is
was
what it was.
that's all how I knew how to like navigate. Plus,
Right.
like, you know, once Emily saw the path I was going down, because she was not on that timeline,
Right.
I had to make a bunch of new friends.
Right.
And now I'm making friends for my current lifestyle.
Right,
You know what
which
I
is
mean?
not
So
a-
I'm picking
it's
all
dark.
the great pics of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can imagine. And it just led to just really bad encounters with people that I would have never been in front of if it wasn't for my pursuit of just ruining my own life.
Right.
You know?
You were on the path of destroying everything about yourself.
Yeah, and I will say that, like, I always heard the bad voice, very loud and clear.
Isn't that
Always
something?
heard the bad voice, never heard a good voice, because I never really looked for one, you know
Right.
what I mean?
You wanted the bad guys to, you know.
Yeah, because he felt good.
Right.
You know, so like I was all with it. I was like, okay, like this feels great. People like me. I have a lot of friends. Like I have plans for the day all the time.
Were you
like,
working at this time?
I've always had a job. I've always worked.
No matter
double.
what you were going through?
No, that's one thing my dad always, especially after the divorce, it was like never count on somebody else to support you.
Provide for
Always
you.
provide for yourself.
Right.
And I've always had a job. I've always worked 2 jobs. I've always worked my butt off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, like, along the lines, once I got into my later 20s and, like, my addiction issues got really bad, of course, I couldn't keep a job.
Sure, because you're
I was getting
stoned on it.
hired.
Right.
But I was not keeping the
Oh,
job.
wow.
So, yeah, it was like and I'm from around here. I'm born and raised out here.
Okay.
So it's like, even now, you know, like, it's like,
You could fall into that very easily.
yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, God, man, there's a covering, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Without
and-
a doubt.
And even though you didn't know him, right? But
Yep.
he knows you.
Yep.
He knows each one of us, you guys.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what we've done.
He's just waiting.
He's just waiting for you
Literally
to take that
just waiting.
step. That
Literally
one
just
little
waiting.
step and say, Lord, come into my life.
Yep.
So okay, so you went into major drugs from what
Yes.
you were telling me. and
Yeah,
I read
like,
a little
they're
bit
like
about.
everything. Like, there's not something that I haven't done. And that's, like, me just being genuinely honest, because,
Right.
like, I, like, who I am now, like, it's weird because people will, I do, just because of the way I conduct myself majority of the time
Right.
daily, I get called judgmental just because people assume that's how I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I try to hold myself differently now. You know, I'm a mother.
Well, yeah, you're a mom.
Yeah,
you're
know.
a Christian now, which we'll get
I-
to.
yeah.
Because that's like, I want to wait on that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like you live a different set of standards,
Yep.
and it's the biblical standards.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
there's a huge difference
Yes.
between what we see in this world and what's right and what's biblical.
Yep.
And so you do, and you there you are. I mean, the before and after, before
Yeah.
Christ and after Christ.
Yeah, I
What
was
a huge-
homeless in that mugshot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did that? Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to that, because I think the story of redemption will be for
Oh, yeah, later, yeah.
yeah, for the next episode, because I really want people to understand that no matter what you've done, God loves you and wants a
Yeah.
relationship with you, right?
Yep. And not even that, like, my parents I had money growing up. Like, I was raised, like, in a very nice community, in a very nice home.
Right.
Like, and like I said, when you showed that mugshot, I was homeless.
Yeah, right?
Like, literally, like, there were times I was one of those people on the side of the street with a sign. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yeah, like, and it's like, it really does go to show, like, it doesn't matter where you come from.
Right.
Or it, like, your path can lead you wherever if you're not staying on the right path. Because,
Right.
like, I had every ample opportunity in front of me.
Yeah.
And, like, I chose to have it all ripped away, and, like, it got everything.
And once you open that little sliver for the enemy,
Yeah.
he will take
Yep.
control of your life.
Yep.
And so you were heavily into drugs. You were homeless. Okay, so what happened after that?
So, just like along, I ended up leaving my dad's house just because, I got older, so I started having guys around and stuff like that, living at guys' houses, not coming home. So just like the way the cards fell, it's just like, okay, let me just move out of my dad's house. I don't respect. You know what I mean?
Because he's probably saying, this is my little girl.
Yeah,
I don't need to be seeing this. This is not good.
So from that, definitely just like can't keep a solid place to live because I can't keep a job because I'm on drugs.
Because you're strung out on
drugs. So now I'm
living
living with different boyfriends, and all of them like this, but the last one was just like I was like the bars went from like really nice bars, fine dining, to like they decreased as my drug use got worse. So once I was in like a hole in the wall bar, I met a guy there, and he was in a whole different realm of drugs that I didn't know about, and he introduced me to that. And couple weeks later, I lose my apartment, I lose my car. Now I'm living out of his car with him, in and out of parking lots, sleeping at the campgrounds, taking showers at the campgrounds. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it was like, I remember sitting there and I'm just like, how does this even happen? But I will say one thing. One thing that being homeless did for me, because I grew up with a lot of material possessions, very nice material possessions. And I'm raised Jewish. We, believe that, like, you should have money, you know what I mean? You should have good things. You should have nice things. Like, that's the culture, you know what I'm saying?
Grew up in, sure.
Yeah, and it just all got taken away, but it's like now, because I went through that period of being homeless, and there were times when I was at the beach and I just felt happy because the wind was blowing on me. Like my life was such a mess, but like, and that was probably God.
That was definitely God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you didn't know
I didn't
in
know.
the moment. Right.
But it really made me like realize, like, that's the moment that made me like, I don't need possessions to be happy.
No, and I think that's the
that
fallacy
moment
of
right
our
there.
World.
Planted that seed for where I'm at today, because I'm able to live simple today, no matter what I have.
Right.
Which is
whether
like,
it's wealth or not.
Yeah.
Wealth can be a blessing of the Lord, not necessarily material possessions, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you cling to, because when tough times come, which they do, and they always
they keep
you're either
keep
in a
coming.
valley or you're going up the mountaintop and then you're heading into the valley again. So who do you lean on? And that's the thing. It's like, you really have to know who you are.
I have to stand firm in who I am, like I said, especially because I'm from around here.
Right.
So, like, people from my past, you know what I mean? I don't run into them a lot, really. No. Because I'm on I live a different life. Right. You'd be surprised how small the city gets. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's just everything blends. When you start doing what you're supposed to do, you're covered and you have a protection over you. And it's like, when I drive by, because I do, like when I'm driving to and from work, I drive by places where parking lots I've slept in. You know what I mean?
That must be so surreal to you.
But it makes me 20 times more grateful for my ride home when I'm driving home from work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's like
of a
car.
Literally all of these nasty, negative memories, like, I don't even want to sound corny saying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, God has really, like, turned ashes into beauty, like things that were so painful for me to even talk about. Like when I went through I went through a program, went to get sober when God called me to get sober. And like, it just, everything worked the way He wanted it to work.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. So I want you to...
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at Broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavilla.properties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. And welcome back. Okay, Farrell. So I want you to share, because you shared this with me when I was driving down to Coral Springs to get my kittens whacked. Not whacked, but the boys.
Thanks. Just a little bit. I'm like, kill your kids.
Oh my God. I just remember my jaw hit, oh my gosh. So talk about that part, and then we're going to have her come back because there's so much more to her story. This is just the foundation.
To unpack.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's just weird because when you had called me, it just goes to show how you're in different places of your life, because when you called me and you're like, oh, tell me about yourself, that was my main, well, this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm blessed that it's not on the forefront of my mind all the time. You know what I mean? Now,
because you don't want that,
and that's
hard.
God, and it's the circles of people that I ended up meshing myself with, which is why I will always drive into my daughter, your company is everything that you keep. Yeah. Because you really need to keep people around you that are for you and that want what's best for you.
Yes.
Because when I'm around people that all they care about is drugs and all they care about is how they could better them, you know what I mean? I found myself meeting up with people that you get told by your mom, listen, this is the worst thing that could happen to you in your life.
Right.
And along the lines, I ended up coming in contact with some people. I will say minimum, but I ended up getting taken by them. And
you mean kidnapped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was probably, it thrives my paranoia of who I am today. You know what I mean? I'm always thinking with a paranoid state of mind. And God has grown me in the past couple of years before that. But just because of I was around all the wrong people, and you never think your body can let you know when you probably should. It's time to go.
Fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they took me, and they took me a couple times, and I was blessed that literally the first time I've ever heard God's voice was how I got home alive, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's more to this story, obviously, but we're running out of time, so I
know, right? It's
oh wow. So why don't we do this? So you guys, you have to tune in, because this isn't even she's just a short synopsis of what happened to her, because that's how you came to know Christ, was as a result of this kidnapping or the kidnappings.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is you're going to come back, and then we're going to talk about more in detail, but then also how God just grabbed you out of that situation. You guys, thank you so much.
No,
it's
thank
a
you.
miracle.
I'm so glad that I finally
Thank
got
you,
to get
Jesus.
here.
Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, my dear.
Of course, yeah.
And so what we're going to do is next week I have Carrie Bollinger, who's going to be my guest at 3 o'clock next Wednesday. So listen, you guys, check out my social media, join, subscribe, share with your friends and family, because you know there's people out here that need to hear these stories. And just have an amazing and blessed week, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Thank you for watching Faith Stories, where you will hear stories of hope, faith, and love. Please join us next week, and remember, God meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you where you are.